Okay, so here we are. We're going to start with adding into my beautiful Vitamix. Here we go. Not sure what I would do without this Vitamix. This is a beautiful gift that my daughter got me. Let me see, am I in focus? I hope I was in focus earlier too. This was a nice gift my daughter got me years back. So we have 2 cups of almonds. Now this is the identical recipe I have on my black pepper cheese that I make. Okay, so if you are making cheese, I think you should be soaking it longer than just a couple of hours. I say soak for a couple of days and make sure you change the water, because the longer you soak, the softer the nut's going to be, and it's going to give you a nice creamy texture. So to this we're going to add 1 garlic and about a teaspoon of salt, but you can add more. Let me just put just a little more. I always like it just a little more salty because it really is a preservative. And when you're eating cheese, you know, people say, oh, I don't want to put salt in my diet. But really, when you're eating cheese, you're not going to sit there and eat the whole thing. You're just going to have a little bit of the cheese. So I'm going to put, I'd say another, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, just a little extra of salt. And you're going to use either pink salt or gray salt like I'm using right now. Now we're going to have our Rejuvilac, and I do have a link on how to make Rejuvilac. So we're going to add 1/4 to start off with, not 1/4, sorry, 1/8 cup to start off with. Actually, you know what, I'm going to put 2 1/8, so that would be 1/4 cup of the Rejuvilac, and we're going to put, there we go, my little secret weapon over here, 1 teaspoon of maple. I am using dark amber maple. It's not going to give the cheese any taste of maple, believe it or not. There will be no maple taste to it, but what it will do is give it that nice sweet taste that goat cheese has. Goat cheese, believe it or not, has a sweetness to it. So I'm using just 1 teaspoon of dark maple, because that's got a nice rich full body to it. 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 medium-sized clove of garlic. I put 1/4 cup of Rejuvilac, and I might even use more. What I do is I don't use just water. If I have to add water, I rather add just Rejuvilac to some of my cheeses. And now I'm going to take the juice of 1 lime, and I'm going to add it to that. So I'm just going to cut this and add here we go. We're going to add the juice of 1 full lime. So I'm going to put this other one at the bottom. I love this too because I could actually squeeze both halves at the same time. We are now going to blend this until it gets nice and creamy. If I see that I might need a little extra liquid, I will add a little extra Rejuvilac. So I'm just going to get my cover. There we go. Now this is going to get noisy, so I will block you out. By the way, when you're making cheeses, it's always best to start slow and then just work your way up to a high speed. Okay. I need a little extra, so I'm going to add another 1/8 cup. Okay, so let's take this machine away so I can show you. Now the good thing about this is that my juice fast is almost over, so I'm able to enjoy this. Now you want this to be really, really creamy, so you don't want to overdo it with liquids because that'll be a messier job. If you put too much liquid, that's why you need a very high-powered machine, because if you put a lot of liquids into your cheese, then you're going to have to either drain it in a nut bag. It's just not going to be the same texture. So I only use the Rejuvelac. And if you see you don't have Rejuvelac and you really want to try it, you can use probiotics. You would need at least 2 capsules. Now I am going to lower this so I can show you cheese. I think I'm focused. Okay, so like I said, you don't want to add too much liquids, because if it's too liquidy, you will have a messy cheese because it's never going to firm up the way you want it. You would have to put it in a nut bag and drain it, where right now, if I show you my cheese, it is nice and firm. But again, you need a good machine to be able to do this. So I'm not sure about the Ninja. I've never used one. I swear on the Vitamix, because I used to make cheese with the Diamond KitchenAid, but it never really came out as good as when I did it in the Vitamix. So now, like I said, if you don't have Rejuvelac, or you don't want to wait that long, because it does take time to make Rejuvelac, I do have a recipe if you're interested in making it. I make it and I keep it in the fridge, and my Rejuvelac lasts a long time. Trust me when I tell you it lasts a long. I've got Rejuvelac in my fridge that's over a year old, and it just makes your cheese that much better. Do not be afraid. You know when your stuff is still good and when it's gone really, really bad. If it's bad, you throw out the Rejuvelac, but you really do know when stuff has gone bad and when it's not. There's a certain smell. I'm not sure how into strong cheeses you are, but I was a fan of strong cheeses. I rather have strong cheese than mild cheese. So I know the certain smell, but then again, if you're scared and you don't want to keep it a long time, just keep making you batches of Rejuvelac. So I'm going to try and pull as much as I can out from the bottom. This is one thing, Vitamix, I keep saying it all the time. They should learn to, they should make a machine where you could actually unscrew the bottom, and you can get all that beautiful cheese that gets stuck underneath the blade. That's the only downfall these blenders have. I remember the old blenders, we're talking way back now, you were able to unscrew the bottom so easy. Maybe you can unscrew this, I've just never tried it. They might have tools. I'd have to go check their website, because it would make life easy. So who's ever working with Vitamix, see if you can come up with a way of making it easy for us to get to the bottom of this machine. Okay, so here's my cheese. Now this cheese is going to ferment 24 hours. I'm going to cover it, but I'm not going to completely cover it. Now I just leave this, and we have just a little bit of cellophane on top to protect it from dust. We won't seal the bowl, but we're going to ferment this for 24 hours. And like I said, what I did use was 2 cups of almonds, and I put 1 teaspoon of dark maple. But if you don't have dark maple, you can use the agave. I put 1.25 teaspoon of salt, along with a medium-sized clove of garlic. I did squeeze the juice of 1 lime, and I used my Rejuvelac. What I did do was I started off with 2 1/8 cups of Rejuvelac, and when I saw that it needed more, I did use another 1/8 cup, and I completed the blending that way. If you make it too watery, you're going to have problems, because you're going to have to drain your cheese by putting it in a nut bag, and that's going to cause loss of flavors. So try not to use as much liquids if you don't have to, because you want it a nice thick pasty type of mixture. So this is going to go onto my counter for 24 hours, and after that 24 hours we're going to put it into the refrigerator and make sure it's sealed well so it doesn't pick up any flavors that are in the fridge. So for now we're just going to put this to ferment. And here is a mixture I made earlier, and this mixture is a mix of fresh thyme. I'm sure you could pick some up at your local grocery store, and that depends on you on how much thyme you want to use for flavor. And I did use a handful of cranberries. I used some pumpkin seeds and some pistachios, and I blended it up almost like a fine crumble. And this is what we're going to use to encase my cheese. Rather than using the black pepper that I normally use, my daughter doesn't want to eat the black pepper one. She says it's just way too much. Oh yes, and I did put a pinch of black pepper in this, and salt. And that again depends on you on how salty or how peppery you want it. I didn't put too much for Erica because she really didn't want that much black pepper. But this is going to be a great summer cheese. It's got that sweetness, it's got the savory. So this is already done ahead of time, so I don't have to worry about mixing this last minute. So now I have it ready. I'm going to cover with some cellophane, and this is going to go into the refrigerator. Yes, it is wet and moist, but when we put this around the cheese, it's going to adhere nicely, and then we're going to put it into the cheese is going to go into the dehydrator, and this is just going to dehydrate along with the cheese, and it's just going to be wonderful. It's going to have a great taste. And I'm excited because my juice fast is almost done. Today is my last day of my juice fast. I feel fantastic, and hopefully I shall have a video. If not today, I'll get one done and let you know what I felt over my 60 days of juice fasting. If anything, I felt the strongest I've ever felt. My face improved tremendously. It isn't completely healed, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. I will do another juice fast soon. What I might do now is maybe 1 week juice fast and 1 week eating raw. But I'm going to continue this journey, and I am going to completely heal myself and prove those doctors that they're completely wrong, that food does make a difference. What you eat is what you are. So here's this great recipe I've got for you, and I'm going to see you in the next one and show you how I process this cheese. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in a bit.